Yo, people, welcome back to the YouTube channel. You already know what time it is. It's time for London Clubs Carnage. This guy, Tobs, I'm just going to get straight into it, slander him from the off. Where the hell is this guy? Where's this guy? Where is he? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, he knew this was live at this. And people in the chat, you asked me, why don't you do the show live? Why don't you do it live? Well, this is your reason. This is your reason why we don't do it live. Because when we're pre-recording, I could delay it, I can move it, I can do something with it. But when I'm doing it live, you man in the chat waiting 10 minutes, you're like, yo, where's this guy? Where's this guy? Bro, we ready. Do you know what I'm saying? We ready to go. So this is why we don't do it live. But big up Potts, big up Lawless, always on time, always ready to go. Do you know what I'm saying? Lawless, how you doing? You good?
Yeah, good, mate. Good, mate. Just waiting for Tobs to come in, eating some food, talking about, oh, sorry, oh, you know. Like, honestly, that guy's something else.
It's not even reachable, fam.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You don't even communicate. You don't even communicate to say what's going on. At least Potts was like, oh, I'm in. I'm just setting up. But disgrace. So I don't want to hear nothing from him today. He needs to keep his chest firmly in.
100%. Potts, fresh off a North London. Fresh off a North London derby win, and then a massive win against Man United. I see Lee Gunner. I know you work with him often, talking about we go and win the league, all of this stuff. I'm like, wow, where did that come from?
Lee Gunner's twin, mate. Lee Gunner's twin. You know what I'm saying? It's mad. It's mad. It is absolutely mad this season. Apologies for being a little bit late. I'm nowhere near as late as Tobes, but apologies for that, man. I haven't actually been well at all. Lawless, bless him, had to run my stream the other night, and he did a very good job, by the way. Haven't even actually seen him to say thank you yet, only by text. But I've been awful the last couple of days, and my voice has just come back. Some would say from shouting too much on Sunday. I wish I could shout. I had no voice on Sunday or Monday and a little bit of yesterday, and it's finally come back. But I'm happy, man. I'm so happy. And I know a lot of people are saying that people like Lee Gunner and others that have questioned the process like myself can't be happy. But we're Arsenal fans, man. We're top of the league. Everything is looking great. And it ain't stopped yet. So personally, I hope it continues. And I'm going to enjoy it for as long as I can, man, because this is getting serious now, Matisse. Getting serious.
It's getting very, very serious. And even I'm like kind of becoming a little bit like not acceptant of what possibly is potentially going to happen. But yeah, I'm starting to realize this is a sticky situation, because when Nketiah is popping up with a last-minute winner against Manchester United in a game of that magnitude, and it's the mentality, it's ticking the boxes of, you know, never say die attitude, you know, Manchester United, Silas Ferguson at Ewood Park, 1-0 win, Carlos Tevez. It's giving me those vibes. It's giving me those vibes. And whether you want to admit or not, Lawless, I don't know if you've got those vibes yet, but I'm getting those vibes where it's just going to be like, you know what, whether or not this is a freak of nature or not, we'll have to see in following seasons. This could just be a one-off. I'm praying to God this is a one-off. But even if it is a one-off, it's looking like it will be a one-off, because I watch Man City on a heavy at the moment. I'm locked in. I'm tuned in. I'm analyzing. I'm breaking down everything. And I'm still, yeah, they can beat Wolves. And I said it to Hugh on Big Six. I'm still not convinced. It's going to take a lot for me to be convinced of them. And a lot of people are telling me to just accept it. Have you accepted it, Lawless, or is it too early?
It's too early. It's too early, man. It's January. Come on. Tease, man. It's obviously each week it passes, it edges closer and closer, but the gap, you know, could be closed. That Man City game in the league is going to be huge, because we've seen Man City do it before. They've done it like 4 times before, make up like 8-9 point gaps, and then just go and swarm it. I remember the Liverpool. The season before Liverpool won the league, when they was on track to win it, and they had a massive lead over Man City around about this time. Man City made that up and just went on a crazy run. So we'll see. But look, you have to give them credit. They looked good. They've been good. Man City game, honestly, I mean, the Man United game, a lot of energy to how they were playing, never gave up, and just kept coming and coming. So it's going to be interesting to see if that energy, they're going to be able to keep that up when it gets later into the season. Will we finally see some injuries around the squad? We'll see. And it's a shame, because I feel like Casemiro was a big loss to Man United. That would have been so key, and I would love to have seen what the outcome would have been if Casemiro was starting.
Obviously, he was not available, but you guys kind of bypassed that. Tobs, what's going on? Where you been, bro? You good? What's happened?
Look at this guy.
No, I'm cycling, bro. Sorry. So I literally come back now. I missed your call.
This fitness freak, man. This is why I don't train, guys. You see, this is why I don't lift. I don't train because it's too much, man. I ain't got time. I ain't got time for it. You know what I'm saying? But big up everybody inside the building, the chat. The chat we're getting onto. You're like, yo, this guy's ducking the smoke. I'm pretty sure Tottenham actually won.
Spurs won.
Tottenham actually won.
Yeah, but you weren't convincing, were you? You weren't convincing.
Doesn't matter. We won. So what would I be
the most
doing?
boring games of the season, by the way.
Yeah. You bored everyone to tears, like So
I agree. It was just a shit game.
All right. Yeah, there you go.
This guy, but yeah, it's live today, Tobes. If you didn't know, so you're gonna.
Yeah, I saw on.
You're gonna have to deal with the chat.
Posted on Instagram.
Yeah, so the chat's already. Do you know what I'm saying? They've missed this show live. What is that title? It's not. No, this is not an agenda. So the title, because I feel like we're midweek, right? So everybody's already reviewed the games. Let's have a bit of a debate, a bit of a conversation, because whenever a team is top, especially like Arsenal and the system that Arteta's put together, which deserves a hell of a lot of credit, because it is right now just it's clear, evident. You almost know exactly what the lineup's going to be. You know exactly who's going to play in what position, who's going to take up what role, what everybody's job is. So the system deserves credit. It's not a bunch of individuals just gone out there and carried the manager. I think nobody would say that. So my question is, and I guess Potts, I'll start with you because you're an Arsenal fan. When you look at throughout this team, who do you think in a couple years' time is going to be called a system player? Who is going to be said to be a system player if, say, you know how this goes. Kevin De Bruyne, a great example. People call him a system player. At least some people have, which is crazy, right? But now we're in the peak of Arsenal's powers. It's good to kind of get ahead of the curve and see who's going to get that kind of tag in a couple years' time. Who do you think, if anyone, for that?
It's hard, isn't it? Because everybody at the moment's talking about Zinchenko, and I think that's fair. Thought against Man United, he was unbelievable, by the way. Unbelievable. Thought he was really good against Spurs, but I saw him against United and just thought, where is this guy actually supposed to be playing? Because I saw him right wing back at one stage, right midfield at one stage, right attacking midfield at one stage, defensive midfield, left back, left wing back, left centre forward, left forward. I don't get this guy. He's unbelievable. And I saw him at City and thought he was a good player. But I'm a bit like Jesus. I never really looked at how good they both were because I suppose they weren't playing every week. But now I'm starting to see them every week. Just proves how much you can actually know about a player or not know about a player when you don't support that team. So if somebody had said to me, what does X, Y, or Z player look like? You can give your opinion on what you see on highlights or match of the day. When you start to see them every week, you think, wow, I never knew what this guy was. And Zinchenko, for me, has been so important for the system that we want to play. The other player I'll mention, who probably will be included in that bracket, actually had a really poor game against Man United for the first time this season. Ben White. Ben White come off for Tomiyasu, and it's great now that we have cover and we have a player that can come in, slot in, and there'll be no weaknesses there. But Ben White's been so important for our transition this season because everyone's calling him a right back, but actually when you look at it, he's really important for us going forward this season. Something that I never thought we would be saying about Ben White. Ben White's never really been known as that overlapping right back, but of the last 6 weeks, we've seen that. He was already behind Saka. He was never overlapping him. He was always the guy that allowed Zinchenko to go forward so that he could hold. And we saw last season when Tomiyasu and Tierney were our fullbacks, that's exactly what they were doing. Now we're starting to see Ben White get involved in this system as well. So I think the way that our two fullbacks have played in this season's formation is definitely going to be two that you look at. But the one that everybody, or the two, I suppose, that everyone's going to be looking at in our midfield are Ødegaard and Thomas Partey. You already mentioned Kevin De Bruyne. I think Ødegaard is going to be that guy that everyone looks at now and goes, wow, he's the focal point going forward. But Partey makes that midfield tick, man. So if you're looking at individual players, there's quite a few of them. But I think they're the key, really. If you was to take one or two of those out, I think you probably see an Arsenal that was a little bit similar, but not quite as potent. And for me, Thomas Partey is huge for that because we've already seen, haven't we, when he gets long-term injuries, Arsenal look nothing like they do with him in the midfield. So I suppose if you're looking at systems and players, they'd be the ones that I'd pick out, Matisse.
Because everybody always, I mean, when a team is at their peak, no one ever mentions, oh, that's a system player, that's a system player. But then you see Manchester City now, and the fact that someone of Kevin De Bruyne's level could even be given such a tag, and people actually genuinely regurgitate it and say it constantly. It's better to flip the script and say it, while the system is actually working. Do you know what I mean? For once, instead of when it's not working, because it's easy to say when it's not working. Now it's working. It's interesting. I thought Martinelli. I mean, Martinelli's been. I personally don't know the answer to this question either. It's just a question, just a debate for the chat as well. Martinelli wasn't great against United in the opening stages. Obviously, those few touches there. But when I was going through the team and I was going through who starts constantly, this Arsenal team has been very, very, like, there's barely any rotation. Martinelli started every game. It feels like Saka started every single game. Odegaard, Xhaka, Partey, they've all started every single game. When you look at their games played in the Premier League, it's all 19. They're all sitting on whatever games it is played. That's how many games that they basically started, and none of them have really been coming off the bench or anything. So they are the ones that are just constantly being shelled out every single match day. And I'm thinking, if Martinelli was to drop off a little bit, and people are saying he's dropped off since the World Cup, he hasn't been good since before the World Cup. Has he scored since the World Cup, Potts? I don't remember.
No, he's actually had a bit of a quiet few. It's hard, isn't it? Because nobody at Arsenal's playing badly at the moment. But if I was to pick one that I've questioned over the last couple, it's been Martinelli. But then there's been parts of his game against Spurs and against United where he has been really good, and Newcastle where he has been really good. And I think, ironically, as he was about to take him off, he started to play a bit better. So maybe you knew Trossard was coming on. But he's a player that I absolutely love, and I've got no questions about his long-term form. I think Martinelli will be wicked.
Zinchenko very much impressed me against Man United. Lawless, anyone that impressed you against Man United or
I mean, Saka, I thought, you have to shout him out. Like, the guy's got bags of energy. Like, he absolutely terrorizes players. I thought, he was excellent. He was outstanding. You have to give, obviously, Nketiah props for getting the goals, but just in terms of just causing the opposition problems, and he was incredible. And I mean, honestly, how bloody Christian Eriksen stayed on that pitch for as long as he did, because he was one of the ones really getting terrorized. I mean, geez, it really showed like the difference. I mean, he's such a slow player, Eriksen. He's a quality player, but going up against someone like that when he's faced with someone like Saka, who is quick, who is energetic, it really showed the difference that it can make. And I think that was a big mismatch in that game for sure.
I just think I think Shaw did. Maybe people are saying I overblown it. I think Shaw dealt with him pretty well in the first half. I don't know what you thought, Potts, but I thought he'd done a pretty good job in the first half. Second half is when it started to kind of fall down the wayside, because energy levels, they just couldn't keep them up. Man United put so much energy into that first half. You could tell they're not really used to exerting themselves of that level, and you can understand because they've got Eriksen. He's what, 30 plus. Fernandes, what is he, 30 as well, or is he just behind 30? Varane, all of these, a lot of these guys, Weghorst, a lot of these guys are not spring chickens. They're not Arsenal in terms of the age range. So second half, they just dropped off massively from an intensity standpoint. I just thought Eriksen, man, he had to come off way earlier than he did, because once Saka kind of cut inside and left Shaw, as soon as he decided to go for Eriksen was just a sitting duck. And we've spoken about Eriksen so many times defensively. He just isn't going to give you what you need in a Man United team in these type of games. You saw it at the Etihad when they lost 6-3, and he wasn't able to track Foden's runs. And then we saw it again, against Arsenal in the second half, and obviously he did come off eventually. Someone saying Martinelli created 4 chances, only one less than Xhaka. I don't know how people can say he was bad against United. I think for me, he had a slow start. I think maybe as the game went on, he got better and better, but he definitely didn't start the game. He definitely didn't start the game great.
This guy with his hot chocolate or whatever it is.
I love that.
It's coffee.
Oh, I wonder where you've gone.
I've had nothing to eat. I've had nothing to eat all day. I've had nothing to eat all day. All I've drank is water. I need something to give me some energy, bro.
I love that.
So,
I love that.
I'm sorry. I'm not drinking fizzy drinks and juices all day.
Whoa! Excuse me. This is H2O, my friend.
Let's get back to how fantastic.
I've drank my 3 liters already. So now what?
let's get back to how fantastic Arsenal are. Please, let's not disturb that.
Let me put something out there. I want to know, right? Does anyone think if Casemiro was available for that game, do you think Arsenal win that game still?
Yeah,
Because
I do.
Potentially could have been a different game. I think it could have been a different game. I think it's really naive to say that if Casemiro's there, Man United win and Arsenal don't. But I also believe that he would have given them a chance of taking something from the game, because I do believe that their midfield at times got overrun. I think Bruno Fernandes, I'm sure, did stuff off the ball Ten Hag wanted him to do, but I didn't really see him do much on the ball, if I'm honest with you. Weghorst, if you would have told me that if you told me that Weghorst would have had 2 or 3 touches, I probably would have believed you. He was, I thought, poor. We were just better than him, man. Like, that's the most touches all this season that we've had inside a box. It's absolute crazy how much we destroyed him in parts of the game. So I'm not having it that Casemiro would have won Man United the game, but at the same time,
or maybe got a draw.
I do think that could have been the case, but we will never know.
He's
a
massive player for
all I will say is, why did you not ask the question if Arsenal had Thomas Partey at Old Trafford? Could Arsenal have taken something from the game? I didn't hear that come from you. I didn't hear that come from you.
4 months.
I didn't hear. Yeah, we are going back. We are going back. I'm asking a question, and I didn't hear this coming from your mouth.
You didn't need it because you were saying it. You were saying it. You was complaining about all your fan base was going on.
A lot of our fan base did, but I actually didn't. So I'm asking you why that didn't come out of your mouth when Thomas Partey was out for Arsenal. Why was there no sympathy for us when all of a sudden, does everyone else believe that Casemiro would have made a difference? But I didn't hear this a few months ago from Thomas Partey being out.
We're not just here, and look, people were like, praise Arsenal, praise Arsenal. I praised Arsenal, right? I said it at the start, but we're not just here.
You haven't praised us enough. You find it lyrical.
We're not just here to wax lyrical. We got to analyze, We got to analyze, right, the game and what's happened. And if we're being analytical, we got to look at things and go, look, was this a missing piece? Was this missing piece? You know what I mean?
I think Casemiro could have prevented like at least one of the goals. I think that. But then who's to say that on a different day, Arsenal don't create more chances? Arsenal don't take some of the chances that they created.
So all this time, you've been complaining, Kulusevski, we ended no Kulusevski, now all of a sudden you can't have that same sympathy for Man United?
No, it's not about sympathy. I'm not disputing your claim that Casemiro was a big blow. Probably would have made it maybe more of a contest, maybe. But I'm saying that I still feel Arsenal would have won that game with Casemiro playing.
I think you're portraying it more one-sided than it was. It weren't like a complete, and Arsenal ultimately over the whole 90 were the better team, but Man United caused a lot of problems.
Man United caused problems in the first half, yes, but when you look at the game state, 25 attempts to 6. How is that not largely in the home side's favor?
Yeah, but then you got when you look at it in terms of actually looking at it with your eyeballs, right, and you see what chances are, right. A lot of the times, Anthony completely stifled everything that they was trying to do. Man United would get on a great counter attack, and you think something's going to happen here. All of a sudden, the ball gets to Anthony, and he can't control it. He was a massive weakness in that side. So
I agree. I actually agree.
What goals would Casemiro have prevented, Lawless?
I think he probably would have prevented the
second goal.
Yeah,
I feel like he would have. He would have closed down Saka better than Eriksen would.
Eriksen did, yeah.
That guy should never be in a defensive situation, especially against someone like Saka.
What a goal, by the way. I know Rashford was sick, but Saka, wow.
Which goal was better, do you think? I think Rashford's the nutmeg on Partey is what does it for me. It just gives him
I think Rashford will take that all day long.
Delicious. I love that he nutmeg Partey. I love that he nutmeg Partey to do it as well. Delicious.
That Saka goal was class though, by the way. I'm not having that weren't a great goal.
No, it was great.
The Saka goal was great.
Yeah, it was great.
It was good. Great. I mean, there were. I think, the keeper's vision was probably a bit obscured, so it sort of goes in without looking really like there's any power.
Bro, I've put up a poll. This
guy's. I'm gonna change your name to Buck Nasty. You know,
bro. I put a poll up, right?
Have you seen Buck Nasty, the biggest hater on that video?
Does Lawless
you can't call anyone the biggest hater
enough? And it's 81% no. Is the
wait what?
I put up a poll. I'm going to start putting up polls on the weekly shows, especially on this one. And I've asked him. I said, "Does Lawless praise Arsenal enough? Right? Does he give fair
course he doesn't.
analysis, basically?" And 79% is saying no.
I said
Then
you.
he
I
cries.
said Arsenal
Then
was
he
a
cries
better
when
team.
Then he cries when I dare question players of his football club.
Exactly.
Absolutely cries like a baby.
Exactly.
And
Don't
it's
question
unbelievable.
him. He's not played under an attacking formation. Don't question him. He's been injured. But when it's your positions teams.
Right.
Tobs,
yeah.
Tobs, do you know what's funny, Tobs? What he said when I just come on, he went, "Oh, sorry, I'm just watching Paqueta highlights against Everton."
What's funny about that?
Highlights of him and Leon, yeah, because it can't be at West Ham.
You didn't even watch the Everton game. You didn't even watch the Everton game.
Apparently, he had a great game against Everton.
Oh, brilliant!
But what do we want? What do we want here? Do we want an echo chamber where we all just?
No, we don't. That's why
Arsenal?
That's why the title of the show, and I'm going to ask Tobes because it's a difficult one because right, everybody always asks this question when the system's failing, right? I've seen people say Kevin De Bruyne is a system player, all he does is just spam crosses. Trent is a system player, etc. When Liverpool in their poor form, but I asked the question: do Arsenal have any system players? Do they have any players in that 11 that are taking great advantage of the system that Arteta's put in place? And if you were to take them out of that team and put them somewhere else, they wouldn't show you the same quality because the system is mad right now.
Yeah. I think Zinchenko. I feel like Zinchenko is very good, and I feel like Arsenal are leveraging what he's exceptionally good at, which is his passing. He's a midfielder, right? He's a midfielder, but if he played for a team where he was playing as a stereotypical left back and not the possession heavy sides like Man City and now Arsenal, I feel like you'd see a different Zinchenko. I'm not saying he'd be awful, but he may not be as impactful as he is at Arsenal because he's not tucking into the midfield and getting as many touches of the ball, right? And then I think Granit Xhaka in that left 8 role,
has to be.
Don't get twisted. I think he'd be like, based off how he's playing, I think he would be good on this current form. I think he would be good at another club, but I don't think he would be as good as he is now in this role.
I hear that. Zinchenko, I mean, he had a break. I think he manned the match against Man United. People said maybe he was overgassing it. I think he just did everything you want from a player. He kind of had a free role, if anything. It felt like the areas that I was seeing him pick up the ball was just nuts. He was carrying it.
You were overgassing him, Lawless, or
no, no. It's actually people in comment sections, and the reason I don't know the reason why I kind of felt sorry for United in the end is because they could do nothing in the second half. They didn't have the energy that they had in the first half. Ericsson can't carry the ball. He's a passer. Bruno, he always is a little bit, fugazi in terms of his ball retention. And Scott McTominay can't pass, but he can work. Whereas if you look at Arsenal's midfield with Partey, he's press resistant. He'll carry it. He'll play it through the line. Same with Zinchenko. And then you look at Xhaka and Odegaard in the higher positions, ready to receive. It is very difficult to deal with, and they were kind of outnumbered. Game King says, as a Gooner, what impressed me the most about Man United game was how we didn't let conceding either goal affect us mentally. That, to be fair, that is kind of one of the key points that I took away from that game. The fact that
that's a sign of a team in high confidence. I've seen it where we've had seasons like that, and I suppose you will have on your teams as well. When your team's just confident, and there's always that belief, and you've been there before, and listen, if we just keep going and going and going, then I'll be able to handle. We'll get our goal. That's pure confidence.
I agree. I think we've seen them because when you look at the games that they played, especially against the top 6 sides at home, they went 1-0 down against United. They won 3-2. They went 1-0 up against us. We equalized, and then it was 1-1 at the break, and they won it 2-1. 3-1. West Ham at home. West Ham went 1-0 up, and they overturned that ASAP. Right? Fulham went 1-0 up. They overturned that ASAP. Well, I say ASAP. They took the game to overturn that. Liverpool pegged them back twice, and they went on to win the game. So you can see that, annoyingly, they're mentally strong. Like, I don't know what it is, or what sort of judge Arteta's put on this team, but they seem to face adversity relatively well.
Yeah, no, they really do. And
Eddie deserves a mention as well, Matisse.
He does.
Just lastly, because I know I keep saying
I'm going to get onto you about Eddie.
And you don't think he was good?
No. I'm coming for you on Eddie, mate.
I don't think anybody expected Eddie to do this, right? Can we say that? No,
No.
did anybody expect Eddie to be able to lead
No,
this
I
line
thought he
for
could
Arsenal?
I did,
goals.
yeah. I didn't
Did
think it
you?
was a big
Score some
deal.
goals.
You didn't think it was a big deal?
I didn't think it was a big deal. No, I said this on the Big Six. I didn't think it was a big deal. I think Nketiah will probably end up scoring more goals than Jesus. I think he's a better box striker than Jesus.
And
Yeah,
guess
guess
what
it was the
said,
rest of his
right?
game that I was worried about. I was like, okay, yeah, he can score, but is he going to bring everything else in terms of his link-up play?
Even on that point, we saw towards the back end of last season how he's like physically developed himself to be able to play that way. Like he made himself stronger so he doesn't get knocked off the ball, and his link play improved massively. You saw the improvements in his link play last season. I think the comparison is it as good as Jesus? Maybe not. Clearly not, but is it good enough to keep Arsenal ticking? And are you going to score goals? So yes, they're taking a drop off in terms of what Jesus can do with the ball at his feet versus Nketiah outside of the box, but he's able to do the outside of the box things to a decent enough level, and inside the box, he's way more. He's way sharper in front of goal than Jesus. Way sharper.
So
the thing is, right?
Yeah, go on.
With Nketiah, I have to bring this up because I can't let this go because of the reaction I got when I said this. I put this to Potts, right? I said if Nketiah continues in this form, he should keep Jesus out of the side. And Potts was outraged. His minions were outraged. Couldn't believe
he said his minions.
Yeah, couldn't believe I would make such a ridiculous suggestion that Nketiah keep his place when Jesus is fit. I mean, come on. Like it's a fair statement.
It's a fair statement.
I think it's a fair statement. I'm not going to lie.
Statement. You're going to have to put maybe Jesus on the left or something if Martinelli's in and out of form. But if Nketiah is banging in the goals, you can't drop him.
You can't drop him. You can't. I mean, Potts, what do you feel? Do you feel like he's got to come back out?
No, I do think it's a fair statement, and it was the way that Lawless.
But when was this said though? Was this said a couple of weeks ago?
The way I said, look at this guy.
No, it was, and I'll explain what I mean. Because this guy needs to be told. Needs to be told sometimes.
The way you said it.
If the question would have been put to me as, do you know what, Potts? The way Eddie's been playing of late, he actually might keep Jesus out the side. What do you think? I would have gone, maybe he has a chance of doing that if he continues. But the way Lawless does it, he does it in a West Ham way. He does it in a slate Arsenal way. He does it in a, oh, you lot love Jesus. He ain't getting back in this side now. He won't be doing that. Eddie's going to be doing it. What do you say about that? Ha 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 ha. Paqueta.
Oh, you've done your typical Arsenal defense mode going, no, Jesus is great. He's got to come back in the side. How dare you say that? That's what you're saying.
I think what you'll find, I said, which I did, you are kind of right, because I did kind of lose it a bit. But what you'll find, I said, was that he's a backup striker. And at the moment, Eddie is our backup striker because Jesus is out. When Jesus comes back, he won't just be waltzing back in, but he will mold himself back into that side. And in my opinion, I believe Jesus will still be the starter. But Eddie deserves his players. And Lawless, I apologize for going nuts at you because I did. But I think personally, Eddie does deserve a lot of credit because what he's done, and Tobs is right, the stuff that Jesus did for Arsenal, he's actually done a little bit of, but he's still put the ball in the back of the net. He doesn't do it to the same level. Jesus has been fantastic, and I'm sure we'll get back into this side. But when I look at what Eddie Nketiah is doing at the moment, I'm loving it because I actually feel that Eddie Nketiah of last season wouldn't be taking it to the corner and using his strength to waste time. He'd be flicked off the ball, and then the guys would go down the other end and probably create a chance.
He's worked for this, hasn't he?
He's absolutely worked for it. He's stacked. And the last thing I'll say is the Amazon documentary highlighted this. Lokonga was sort of saying, wasn't he? Oh, I need to be playing. Why aren't I getting in this side? And Eddie was like, well, I'm not either, but we both got to work for it, bro.
I remember that. Yeah, I remember
look at that difference. Lokonga,
so
he's
true.
getting given his chance against Oxford and he's terrible. Needs to go out on loan or maybe even be sold. It would be justifiable to say that he needed to be sold.
That was kind of a mad,
that
was a mad clip, wasn't it? I remember watching that thinking, what the hell is Lokonga smoking?
Yeah. I mean, he's, listen, Eddie Nketiah, for me, has proven everybody wrong as to why he deserves a chance in this squad. So he deserves a place in this squad.
He's proven me wrong with the 100K because in the summer I was like, "Rah, 100K is loads. 100K is loads.
Same here.
100K is loads." But then when you deep it now, paying Eddie Nketiah 100 bags a week, he's delivering with the goals. If you were to go outside of the market and try and get strikers who are scoring at the rate he's scoring, it's going to cost you. It's going to cost you a madness.
Yeah, guys, if you're having any issues, just reload the stream because it's a YouTube issue. This keeps happening. It's got nothing to do with us, unfortunately. LJ Brown says, guys, if you see Saeed, can you sing Your Defense is in Trouble? Nketiah's in the room, bro. I didn't know about this song until a couple of days ago, and it's mad. It's mad jarring. I can't lie. Where is Tap Out Tolerance? Chelsea top 4 charge ? The face of discombobulation.
Look at that, bro.
No top 4 charge in my opinion for us at all. And there is Tap Out Tolerance. He's there, bottom left. There you are.
Tap Out Tolerance.
Hate the word system because everyone is part of one. Yes, I agree with you, but there's certain players that are systemless, right? Eden Hazard at Chelsea was a prime example of that. It didn't matter what system you put in him, what manager you gave him. Sorry, Conte, Mourinho, he was able to deliver. And maybe there's just very few players that are actually systemless, but there are systemless players for sure. No doubt about it. Man, when Arsenal win the league, I will send you and Toby champagne to pop, but you have to promise me you're going to open it live in your channel.
Wow.
Oh, I don't know if I even want the champagne, brother.
If they don't win the league, oh my god.
Are we leaving here with something, especially in regards to Turkish? If they don't win, do you know, Toby, did you see Lee Gunner put up as well? We're going to win the league. Did you see that video?
What's that?
Lee Gunner, he said we're going to win the league. Did you see that video?
Did he put an apology post or something?
No apology. I don't think it was an apology, but he said we're going to
apologizing.
That's when Lee is saying we're going to win the league, that's when I shit myself. I was like, oh shit, okay. Turkish is one thing, Lee is another.
I've not seen it yet.
You're not seeing it yet? Okay. Well,
Gooners are starting to believe, man. Gooners are starting to believe.
You're not going to hear it, but you know what? I'll tell you exactly what they're going to say. Oh, well, no one expected us to win the league at the start of the season. Everyone expected us to finish around 4th or 5th or that. So we didn't bottle it. You know, I remember they said it before when they didn't get top 4 that season, when they started getting close and they bottled that. Oh, people expected us to finish 7th, 8th. They'll weasel their way out of it, but we're not going to let them.
So what, you think we're going to you think if we come second, we've bottled the league from this position?
Yeah. You
said you didn't. You said it's too early.
It is too early. You
can't have both. All right, so this is where I'm going to disagree, right? I agree it is too early because it is only halfway through the season. The reason why I'm so worried is because of the way that they're winning games and the challenges that they're coming up against, and they seem to have an answer for everything. That's my problem. If they were a facade, I would definitely tell you. But it is too early because we're only halfway through the season. But when it's no longer too early, that for me is exactly the moment you can say they're bottling it from here on in if they don't win it. But I don't think you can say both. So if they get to the point where you're saying, okay, Arsenal now are favourites and they should win the league. If they don't win the league from that point, whatever parameter everybody has for games played equals you should win the league, depending on points gap and whatnot. That is the moment where you say, okay, you bottled it now. Because there will come a time where Arsenal, if they keep playing like this, they will be undisputedly favourites. And if they don't win it from there, it will be a bottle job. Now, I wouldn't say that it's like you should throw your toys out the pram and start saying sack managers and whatnot. No, of course not. But you will feel a type of way if you don't win the league from a certain point. Of course.
They should be bantered regardless. And I don't care. They always have relegation, but I don't care. They've been sitting here.
We will be bantered.
When we win the league, we're winning it. We're doing this, talking, sticking their chest out, talking the most. And enjoy it, of course. Enjoy it. But you've got to enjoy it. You've got to not enjoy it. You've got to take what comes if you don't do it.
Listen, if we come second and if we come second and I have to take banter from you, then it will be easy because you'll be in a relegation fight and we won't. So it'll be absolutely easy.
We'll have a trophy.
To take banter from you.
We'll have a trophy, and you
won. What a playoff trophy.
Well, no. Well, how can we win?
Well, you're going to win the conference
this season.
League.
Oh, you think you're going to win the conference league? Okay.
We're going to have a
European. I'm so glad all of this is captured on YouTube.
No, listen.
You said this last year. You said this last year. Europa League.
Yeah, Creswell tax. So.
Right, Creswell. The same guy
Creswell's still starting games.
The same guy who's still as your left back, playing as your left back.
You know there are some good teams.
He's still starting games. I think on the weekend I saw Emerson started. That's got to be like his first start for West Ham.
No, he has started. It's his first
Yeah.
start in a few games. It's his first start in a while. But you know what I mean? Like, yeah, he was good. We'll get to that, obviously. But like I said, Arsenal, if you finish second, you won't have a trophy, and we will. Therefore, you can't say nothing to me.
So you've
don't
had a
try
better
it.
season
Take
than
your
us.
medicine.
Okay, brilliant. Okay, mate.
Trophies, mate.
No worries.
Trophies.
Okay, mate.
I'm sure that season when Spurs finished in the top 4, yeah, and you won the FA Cup, you were sitting there going, "We've had a better season than Spurs." Were you not? Your whole fan base was.
I would, but then again, I'm different to other people. I don't see fourth place as
Oh,
an unbelievable season. So
look at this guy.
I see a trophy as a good season, but you guys wouldn't know that because you don't win them. So you don't know that feeling.
Yet. Give it
I'm
a
looking
few
at the
months.
team. I'm looking at the team.
I'll tell you what.
In the Conference League, you could genuinely win it. Like, it is trash.
They should win it. They should win it. They should win it. This is the thing. They should win it. There is literally Villarreal in there. That is it.
Yeah,
And they won't win it. This is the hilarious thing.
They won't win it. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Okay.
Bro, if you don't win this, I'm coming for
Arsenal
you.
winning the league. West
Bodo
Ham in
Glimt.
the Conference League. What else? What else do
Who's
you
in
want
it,
to stick to
Matisse?
next one?
All right,
Who's
so
who's in it?
in the knockout round playoff winners are Ludogorets, Trabzonspor, Lazio, AEK, Braga, Quagbag, Bruno Glimt.
Quack.
Hey, listen, Matisse, right? You
Quack
better
bag.
not laugh because there's a good chance you'll be in this next season, mate. There's a good chance with your £1 billion squad, you're going to be in this competition next season. So I wouldn't laugh.
Matisse, I hope. Do you know what? I hope for your sake you're not in that Conference League because he is going to absolutely destroy
I
you.
don't want to be in it. I'd rather finish 8th. Genuinely, I'd rather finish 8th.
Well, you can't
than be in
control
this
that.
competition. This
can't
competition.
I would love to see Chelsea in the Conference League.
No,
Oh
it's
my
awful,
days.
man.
It would be
Awful.
hilarious.
Oh my
and funny.
days, the
Oh,
endorphins.
don't.
I'd
No,
love
You
to
better
see
hope. You better hope Lawless ain't right and they win that damn trophy, and then you're in that bloody Conference League, and then they'll be in the Europa League. Oh my god.
Yes.
Oh god.
I need this. I need
Show
this.
some love for your fellow London clubs, guys. Big up. Let's see this as well. I've got a question for all of the people saying if Casa was playing, they would have won. It's a cop out, but they can break it down tactically. He's a great player, but would have been chasing shadows. That's from TBG. That's obviously aimed at Lawless. I mean, yeah, we could all
won, but they might not.
We could do if buts and maybes, but at the end of the day, you know, Man United, you know, they had enough players out there to maybe get a job done. They almost did get it done. I don't think they were far off. It's just in the end, persistence prevails, isn't it? Lawless, stop being salty. You Wrexham supporter in the super chat. Here. They actually could come up to League Two. To be fair, Ryan Reynolds might be leading them to League Two. Shaw backed off so much. I thought he was at Carnival. It's Jesus. You know, you're not wrong, man. This guy, he was not even touch tight. It's true. He wasn't touch tight at all.
My internet is bugging here. One second.
We can still see you, but all right. Let's see. Saka
He's gone off for another coffee.
Yeah, Saka is a system player. Won't be the same player by 24.
Oh God, where's he?
How
got
old
that
Do you
from?
know what?
21.
I was. Do you know what? I was looking at Saka and I was really thinking about it because he is so good. Is he? Can he maintain this? You know, throughout his 20s, right? Or will he have that point? Yeah, like will he have that?
Do you know
point
what?
where
It's a really interesting point because I made this point with me and Lee Judges the other night, and I said I think we need to learn from what Liverpool have done wrong in terms of just burning out their players. So I feel like we don't want the likes of Xhaka and Partey and co to turn into the Fabinhos and Van Dijks of this world, but at the same time, we don't want the youngsters that Liverpool have got to then just drop in form in terms of Trent and Robertson and some of the others. So I think we can learn a lot from Liverpool, if I'm honest. And I think that's why it's important that we're adding to this squad over the next couple of transfer windows, which it looks like we are. Linked with Fresneda, looks like Cedric's going to Fulham. That's another right back, 18-year-old that will go back out on loan to Valladolid. One for the future. Obviously, at centre-back, we've just brought in Jacob Kivior, 22-year-old Polish international, linked with a midfielder now because El Neni is apparently got another long-term injury. So it looks like we're going to be getting a centre midfielder in, and obviously Trossard. So for me, yeah, there's some decent options for us in terms of a squad there. And then, of course, when we get Declan Rice in the summer, Wink, wink, Lawless. We'll have a great player in midfield as well. So
I've
now
seen all the comments.
If
You know what? It makes me laugh. It makes me absolutely laugh.
you do realize Declan Rice would like to go to Arsenal as well, and obviously Chelsea previously. Now,
Oh,
Arsenal.
right. Okay.
Let me ask you this question, right?
Yeah,
If Arsenal were to submit a bid that West Ham were happy with, do you believe your captain, leader legend would stay at West Ham, or would he go to Arsenal and get involved in the title race?
Yeah, I mean, he would probably go. If there's no other options, he would go. But it's hilarious that these Arsenal fans twerk so hard for him when they've called him overrated for years. Said Guendouzi was better. I remember.
I never have.
Oh, do you know what, Potts? You can't keep getting away with this. You can't keep going.
When did I say Guendouzi was better? When did I say it was Guendouzi was better?
I need to go back. in time to them.
I've never said it. That's why I've never said it.
Right.
Rice would be unbelievable.
Internet detectives, find me some evidence on Potts here, because he keeps washing his hands of the rest of the Arsenal fan base. He can't keep getting away with it. But your fan base said Guendouzi's better. Now you're twerking for him after undermining him and underrating him constantly.
What's that got to do with
it makes me sick. Well, I'm just saying it's rich the way you lot are putting him in little pictures in Arsenal shirts and all of that in your fashion brand that you become now.
Do you think he would come Arsenal?
If there's no other options.
What do you mean by that? Because you said that with Chelsea as well. What does that mean?
Well, if Chelsea ain't in for him, if Real Madrid ain't in for him, we've heard.
Do you think he fancies the Conference League ahead of Arsenal?
Well, look, at the end of the day, if Arsenal ain't going to win the league, if Arsenal don't win the league and he looks and goes, do you know what? Maybe I'll hold out for a better club. I'll stay and then, league on a free in 2 years.
Better club like?
Well, like Chelsea. Chelsea are down in the dumps now, but they've got the money. They win. They have their few dull seasons, then they win again, and then they haven't had like a 20-year no league title period, drought like Arsenal. Like, I know, like, you guys are doing well, but you're not elite right now, right? Okay, you're top of the league. You're elite performance-wise. They've, in recent history, look, they've won a Champions League not that long ago. You've never won a Champions League in your history.
My point is not that he would not want to go to Chelsea because the money will talk, and I still believe that he will go to Chelsea.
I think you'll get him now. I think you'll get him.
Well, it depends how we end the season. And like, I understand what Lawless is saying to a certain degree, but at the same time, I think he just putting too much doubt on the fact that he would want to come to Arsenal. It's he would want to. He'd want to go somewhere bigger, and you can't tell me where. Man City won't want him because they've obviously got Rodri and they've got other players in that position. Liverpool, I just don't see it. Man United could be a potential place for him to go. But
Lawless was fuming. Lawless was fuming when I said that West Ham, instead of exercising their extra option of a year and all this stuff, just cash in. And move on. And I said it with Tottenham as well with Kane. Just cash in on Kane and move on. And maybe the fee didn't come up to the right amount. You guys just cash in, man. Do you know what I mean?
But then we're cashing in for less. Exercise the option. We got him on.
I'm just saying, don't exercise the option and then try and keep him, because you're gonna really make him angry. All right, that's what I'm saying.
Oh no, we wouldn't.
You don't want it. You don't want to make Declan angry.
He knows he's going. You don't
want to make Declan Rice angry now. Do you know what I'm saying?
And look, listen, these fans, right? These Arsenal fans are actually putting out fake news about he's turning down Real Madrid because he's got a promise. He's got a verbal agreement with Arsenal, so he don't want to let Arsenal down. Bollocks. See these reports they're putting out there, these crap sources, and they're sharing as if like he's going to turn down Real Madrid for Arsenal. Do me a favor.
You sound a bit annoyed, Lawless. You sound a bit annoyed.
You know what I mean? Like, your fans are just annoying this season, man. Just quiet down.
I thought that was a West Ham account that put that out.
I think it was a West Ham account that retweeted it, but I don't. It was from a journalist or a journalist.
You reckon Rice will go Arsenal in the summer?
I'm surprised you're not kind of just getting him now. I mean, West Ham right now, this is the best time to cash in. Imagine if West Ham got relegated, he would be on a cheap, wouldn't he? He'd be going on a
100%.
So
if they got relegated, he's going for cheap.
So,
listen,
and Lawless can't even get angry with me because he genuinely believes that with Moyes in charge, there could be a chance of relegation. So I've got you there, Lawless. Don't try it.
Listen, we still hold the cards, yeah. 100 mil.
Not in the Championship, you don't.
We're hearing, when I'm hearing about 50 million for Anthony Gordon, yeah, 50 million for Anthony Gordon, and you lot are going, 80 million for Rice. Shut
Gordon
up.
ain't worth 50
100 million. Flipping Anthony Gordon, who you lot are trying to get. I don't know why
Who?
you're
No,
trying
we're
to
not.
get.
No, that's Newcastle's
Yeah.
business. We're done with
Yeah,
that. now.
you're fighting it out with Newcastle,
No,
apparently.
we're not. Nope.
So 50
God.
mil. I'm just saying, yeah. Arsenal fans think that Arsenal it's a foregone conclusion. He's going to Arsenal. He's going on the cheap. Dreamland, absolute dreamland. Honestly, and if he goes to Arsenal, yeah. And I love Declan Rice. I think he's a great guy. I wish him nothing but misery and despair. Yeah.
Listen. 22 years old, isn't he? He's going to come in with a bunch of youngsters that is going to take this team to a very bright future, or what looks like a very bright future. I don't know why you'd be so against. He would be so against coming to Arsenal over some of the other options right now. Anyway, right now, if he's looking at this summer, he might be thinking Arsenal have just competed for a title or won a title. In my opinion, I still think we're going to be up there to winning the Europa League. He might look at that and think Champions League football, just won a title. I've got mates I know there: Ben White, Saka, Ramsdale, Smith Rowe.
He's best mates at Chelsea, though, mate. He's best.
Yeah,
mates
but there's
at
doubts
Chelsea.
over Mount, isn't there? So
There
maybe
is
he doesn't
doubts, and
fancy that
the
anymore.
contract situation from Mount. You know that.
Well,
that
Mount
might...
should come West Ham, actually. Then Rice can play with his
This super chat says, "Poor shout about Zinchenko. Look at Ukraine. He runs it."
Why do you want Mount? You got Paqueta, right?
Yeah, but if Rice is going, we'd need Mount, wouldn't we?
No, you wouldn't. It's not. They don't play the
No,
same position.
Oh, yeah, they don't play the same spot.
position.
Yeah. Well, we're playing because Paqueta plays next to Rice anyway. Paqueta don't play as a.
I think you. I wouldn't be surprised if Paqueta ends up leaving this summer if you finish anywhere near where you are currently and Rice leaves as well. Why would Paqueta stay?
Like you lot,
Paqueta's a Brazilian international. Why would he stay at West Ham?
Then he'll be watching. Then he'll be watching his comps at the other club. That Paqueta.
you lot are trying to get rid of all our players, yeah, like that clown Emmanuel Petit. Yeah, what a fool! Like just sitting there. And that listen, it's fine for you. No, he's not a legend. Like I'm sorry. Yeah, be a professional. Do your job. Yeah, talk about the game. Talk about what's going on. Don't sit there and start, begging for other teams' players to leave their club and go to a team that you support. Be impartial and be a broadcaster. Yeah, fool.
The super chat says, "I thought Odegaard shot was going in anyways." I'm not sure what Odegaard shot. What Odegaard shot are you talking about there? Do you know, Potts? I'm not sure.
Yeah, there was one, wasn't there? It got deflected.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Lawless, didn't you guys bottle Europa League?
What? That's harsh, man.
You kind of did. I'm not gonna lie. That was a good opportunity, man. I think that's the best opportunity you're gonna get. I'm not gonna lie, at winning the trophy in the next 5-6 years. That you was in the semi-final, and you had the best team probably on paper in terms of the first 11, the way you guys were playing that season, and then it was Rangers in the final who have just been slapped up in the Champions League. You could have won that, man. Someone give Toby some pounded yam. He looks unhappy. Well, we're gonna get to Tottenham next because you've just made a new.
I'm not unhappy. My internet is just moving higgy, so you lot can hear me and see me, but your thing's cutting in and out when I'm receiving it back.
Oh, is it? Okay. You just made a new signing. What's your thoughts on this new guy that you've just hijacked Everton? Poor little Everton.
We shouldn't have hijacked. We shouldn't have hijacked the deal. To be honest, I think Danjuma is a good player, but I liken his deal to the Trossard deal. Like they're good players, but they don't really feel a specific need, right? When you look at everything that's gone wrong for Spurs over the last couple of months, right? I'm not really sure how Danjuma fixes these issues. I mean, if he comes in and does well, great. But we have a manager who's not rotating the attack well enough, in my opinion. Brian Hill's not had much minutes. When Richarlison's fit, he's not really starting games. He refuses to drop Son, refuses to rotate Kane. So unless Conte's all of a sudden going to change his mind and actually start rotating the attack, then I'm not really sure how much impact he could have between now and the end of the season. But so yeah, as
he's
it stands
left winger, isn't he? Left winger.
Pardon?
He's a left winger, isn't he?
He's a left winger, but he can play centrally, right? So
okay.
The optics of the deal looks like a Spurs signing all over, to be fair. Like mid-20s, can sign him permanently for like 27 million euros. Loan fee wasn't that high. Doesn't walk into our starting 11. Yeah, it's pretty much textbook Spurs, to be fair. But to give him some credit, like I actually do think his profile player, we don't have someone like that in our team. We don't have someone who can just get the ball and just beat 2-3 players. And I think that's something he can do. He can do quite easily and quite well.
Is he like a Ben Rama, would you say?
Pardon?
Is he like a Ben Rama, would you say? Kind of player.
No, he's way more. I think he's got more tricks than Ben Rama. I think Ben Rama doesn't really have Danjuma's pace and strength. I think Ben Rama's got good feet and a nice strike on him, but I don't think he's physically. I don't think he's as strong as Danjuma. So based off what I've seen, I remember Danjuma last season for Villarreal. He absolutely cooked Man United both games. Cooked them to smithereens. So. People in the comments, I see one comment saying Bergwijn. I think he's better than Bergwijn, but I hear this sentiment. I think he's much better than Bergwijn. Playing out wide, I think he's way better than Bergwijn. But I get the sentiment in a sense where we got rid of a player who was just a number in our squad that wasn't a bad player, but wasn't exactly good either, and didn't really contribute to our season. And now we've gone out and basically done the same thing to a greater extent because he's a better player than Bergwijn, but the defense is bleeding. The goalkeeper looks like he's cooked. The right wing back needs to be addressed. We need a creative midfielder. Like there are bigger priorities that Spurs have. So seeing Danjuma as the first signing come through the door to me makes me annoyed at the club. Not annoyed at the player, but annoyed at the club because it's like, where are your priorities? Now, if we go on to sign Pedro Porro, which looks like it's going to get through the line after all the weeks of nonsense reports and stuff. It looks like it's actually going to get done. If we sign Pedro Porro and we get like a centre back, for instance, a good centre back, then okay, I'm calm with the Danjuma signing because at least you've addressed potentially 2 starting positions, and then you've got us a good player that we can call upon off the bench. But if you're telling me it's just Danjuma, I'm not really hearing it.
Have you been linked with any centre backs? Pedro Porro would actually be a proper statement signing from Levy for once.
Do you watch him regularly? Because I don't watch him.
From what I saw against you guys, he looked really good. And then we were linked with him, so I did a bit of basic research on him and the formation. He's basically playing the same wing back system you're playing, but going forward, he looks really good. Defensively, I don't know.
I've seen the comps. I've seen his stats, his underlying metrics, and he does look like someone who can attack like really well. But I don't know how that will translate to the Premier League. I can't say I've watched him wholeheartedly, so I can't speak with confidence on Pedro Porro. For me, even though I've done my research, he's still an unknown quantity, right? Even the game where he supposedly played so well against Spurs, I didn't watch that game. That was the home game. I was on holiday. I was on holiday. Yeah, exactly. I heard, but I was on holiday, so I didn't watch it. And then the away game, when I was there, I didn't really take notice of his performance. It was Marcus Edwards that was doing all the work on that right-hand side. So I hope he's good. I really hope he's good because we need a solution now in that right-hand side of our defense. We need a solution. We've got Romero, who's the right centre-back, right? We've got the right winger. We've got Bentancur, who plays like right central mid. Now we need the right back. We need a good right back, right? Jet Spencer's going out on loan, which is great. And the club are outright refusing any offers for permanent deals or options to buy. So we're going to be able to get him out on loan without the option to buy, which is great for me because it can at least give us 100% conviction on whether Conte has been a fool all this time or Conte had a point. So I want him to get some game time, and I hope that he smashes it. And ideally, if we do sign Pedro Porro and he comes in and he hits the ground running and he's sick, and Spence does the same at his loan spell, then that automatically puts us in a good position in the summer. And that's one less area of the team to focus on because come next summer, we'll have 2 options there and we can get rid of the dross that are behind them.
Well, potentially you'll have a striker to replace. I'm not buying this whole Kane signing a new deal thing. I think
I'm not buying it as well. I'm not buying it as well. But yeah, we will have a striker to replace potentially. But they've known this. They've known this was on the cards for years. So you would expect a club to be proactive in these situations, but that's not really Spurs. So you got to deal with the card. You got to use the cards that you've been dealt, right? And
Yeah.
that's the situation. If Kane leaves this summer, you're going to have to replace him. Simple.
Tobs, I want to ask you quick. I don't know if you saw Monday Night Football with Gary Neville and Cara. I don't know if you saw that, but I thought it was interesting what Gary Neville was saying, because there's this huge debate about how well Tottenham are doing. And, you know, friends of mine have said Tottenham are so ungrateful. They should just be happy with getting in a Champions League, and Levy's done unbelievable for them. They were going nowhere until he took over. And then there's Tottenham fans that are saying, get them out. This is a disgrace. We're never going to move forward. So I don't know if you saw what Gary Neville said, but he was basically saying, I don't get the dark cloud over Spurs. They're like 3 points off top four. Conte's there. Unbelievable stadium. Unbelievable training ground. One of the best strikers in the world. What's there not to like? I wanted to get your thoughts, man.
He's trolling.
Facts.
He's a waffler. He doesn't. Gary Neville is a waffler. He's very archaic in his view on certain things. And over the years now, probably the last 2 or 3 years, I think he's fell off as a pundit, because for someone who's so good, he's so clearly good at seeing how to break down a game of football and articulating that properly. He's refusing to acknowledge the nuance in some of the things he says. Like he's an idiot sometimes. Like he can, if you asked him, if you said, oh yeah, like I could say the same for Man United. What's the fuss with Man United, right? They're in the top 4 now. They got a manager, they got a set system, etc., etc. But do you think he's not going to complain about Man United? Do you think he's not going to say about how the club's been poorly run? About how they need...
That's mad to compare the two. That's mad.
No. It's not mad to compare the two. I'm using Gary Neville as an example. I'm saying that when it comes to Man United, yeah, I'm not comparing the two clubs. I'm specifically talking about Gary Neville. So stop waffling and stop trying to deviate from the point. I'm saying if he was asked a question about Man United and someone said, if he was asked a question about Man United, what their issues are, he would be able to break down every single detail and intricacy, right? When it comes to Spurs, he wants to take it at surface level. That's the point I'm making. Yeah, and the issues are deeper than surface level. He talks about Harry Kane being there. Harry Kane could be gone next summer. He talks about having Conte. Conte's not done his job well enough this season. He talks about our training ground, our famous stadium and training ground. We're not producing any top talent. And the talent that we've produced over the past couple of years, we've got rid of them. And if you're looking at the team, oh yeah, they're 3 points off top 4. Well, we've conceded 31 goals in the league, I think, this season, which is the highest of any top 6 side. Right,
any top 10 side.
Exactly. We've only won 4 of our last 11 matches, which is in the league. Right, we've lost 4 of our last 5 home matches. Like we've been on a real downward trajectory over the last couple of months. So for him to say that is ridiculous. Like it doesn't even make sense.
He's done it with other clubs as well. He's kind of really weird when it comes to Man United. With the other clubs, he looks as if everything's rosy. But at Man United, it's so strange. Like I used to really rate him as a pundit. He used to be one of my favourites. And
he's
really
a shit pundit now, man.
Dropped off for me. And
but even Simon Jordan said these fans are idiots. He said
the other day he predicted Man United to finish second.
Yeah, ahead of Arsenal. Arsenal were put in third.
Yeah, he predicted Man United to finish second, Man City to finish first. I'm like, what are you basing this on? Because like a blind man could see Man United have by far and away the toughest fixture schedule out of any side in the top 6, right? Because they didn't finish first in their Europa League group, right? So they now have to play a playoff against Barcelona. On top of that, they've made it to the semi-finals of the League Cup. So they're playing more fixtures than every other Big 6 side, right? On top of that, they're still in the FA Cup. On top of that, they still got their league campaign to contend with. And all of this is happening with injuries hitting their squad. Dalot has missed a couple games. Casemiro was suspended the other day. Martial is constantly injured. They've had to bring in Weghorst on loan because they have no money. The squad is on its knees, and they have a serious lack of depth. And anyone with any sort of football brain can see that if Man United don't get players in, as well as Ten Hag has done, as great as they've been in terms of their organization, etc., these players are going to gas out. They're going to gas out, and he can't see that and reflect that in his.
Why is he wrong about the Levi out thing? Why is he wrong? Like in terms in the grand scheme,
I've just explained to you why he's wrong. I've literally just explained to you why he's wrong.
What, because of a bad run of
What do you mean why is he wrong? I've just explained to you why he's wrong.
because you've conceded goals and you're, and all of that stuff. Well, you could look at that on your elite world-class manager who Levy signed. You've moved stadium, right? And you're still spending money. You asked Arsenal fans when they moved to the Emirates how their expenditure was in the years that followed that move and the toll that took on their abilities. And now you have moved to a new stadium, built a new stadium from scratch, and have still been spending. Not as much as you want to be spending, but you're spending. Brought in Conte, has given him players, and you're not falling off a cliff. Yes, you want to be like certified Champions League status, but it's just crazy when I see what everyone else has gone through with ownership, including my team, how your expectations are so high.
How is it high? Tell me how our expectations are high. What about wanting our team to progress is high expectations. Nobody is killing Levy because Spurs ain't won a league title. Nobody is killing Levy because Spurs ain't finished second. What we ask is for an ownership that are proactive when it comes to dealing with the squad quality, right? We have a board and a hierarchy that are so reactive when it comes to refreshing our team. They basically run a player down to the bare bones and then replace them poorly. You're talking to me about why are we angry about Daniel Levy? Our best side that we had 4 or 5 years ago, Ericsson, not replaced. Walker, not replaced. Danny Rose, not replaced. Jan Vertonghen, not replaced. None of these guys have been replaced. And you're asking me why am I so angry? You're talking about, oh yeah, no, but you move into the new stadium, you're spending money. Well, yeah, because the times have changed from when Arsenal built their new stadium. Teams have been able to learn from the issues that Arsenal faced and have been able to finance their deals in such a way that it doesn't hamper the club. And that's what ENIC have done. And they get credit for the stadium. Everyone gives ENIC credit for the work they've done with the stadium. Yeah, but the whole premise of moving into that stadium was Spurs are going to be operating on a different level, right? And Spurs had to go through a lot. You're asking, oh yeah, why are you angry at Levy? Our best period when Pochettino was our manager, we didn't get a penny from the ownership. We could only spend what we made, and in some cases he couldn't spend any money. He went 18 months without a signing, and you're asking me why am I angry at this ownership? Are you crazy? Are you absolutely crazy?
Why you want the ownership?
No. I ain't finished. We were in a Champions League final. We were en route to a Champions League final. We were second in the league in January. Yeah, Dembele had been sold. We didn't bring anyone in, and you have the audacity to ask me why am I angry at the ownership? Are you crazy? Are you absolutely crazy? And then you're trying to paint it. You're trying to paint it as Spurs fans feeling entitled. That is absolutely insane. It's insane. We've won one trophy. We've won one trophy in like 21 or 22 years, and we have an ownership that have consistently shown when we didn't have money and when we do have money that when it comes to the right player at the right time to make Spurs competitive, they don't want to do it. They don't want to put their hands in their pockets. So this notion that Spurs fans are entitled, it's absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. Never say that shit again in your life.
I didn't say why are you angry. You could be frustrated, but you want all this. We want.
Nah, man, don't piss me off. Don't piss me off because Gary Neville was doing the same thing the other day. I hate when Simon Jordan did the same thing the other day. Oh, Spurs fans shouldn't moan at Levy. Why shouldn't we moan at Levy? Why shouldn't we moan at Levy? If I went through the list of players that we have failed to sign over the years, before Pochettino, before Redknapp, yeah, this is a man who sacked Martin Yeo at halftime. This is a man who had a project manager, sacked the project manager in Pochettino, and hired win now managers and wants to give them 60% of win now resources. What kind of
exactly?
Where's
That's
the
the
logic
problem.
in that?
That's the problem. Doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense. And you can say that Tottenham were always born to be this, and that they should be grateful for the crumbs and the grains of rice that they've been given. But the aim of elite sports is to win. And at the end of the day, when you have the type of team that they had under Poch in that Champions League final season, I think everybody's expecting you to kick on from there. And if you're not going to be able to splash in the market because of the stadium, which is a fair point, cool, I don't know the ins and outs of the finances, then you have to stick with a project manager who can bring through. Where's the youth players then? Why are there no young players coming through the academy? I've said it before at Tottenham. If you're not going to splash, then where's the youth academy? If you're not going to give proven managers winning players, then where is the project manager? At least make that shit make sense. At least align it properly, because it's not aligned. So it doesn't. At this point, it doesn't make any sense. Also, what also doesn't make any sense is the likes. Smash up the likes, people. There's 2,000 of you in here. There's only 384 likes. That may be one of the worst ratios I've ever seen on YouTube. And I never asked for likes because I just can't be bothered. But now I'm starting to realize why I should. All right, because this is a mad ratio. Let's up that, people.
From now on, I don't want to hear Lawless say a word about his ownership. I don't want to hear him say a
we
word
got real bad.
about
We've
his
got
ownership.
genuine bad ownership.
No. I don't want to hear you say a word about your ownership. They spent 170 million this summer. They spent money last summer, right? They got you into a brand new shiny stadium. I don't want to hear you moan about your owners.
Brand new shiny stadium, an athletics ground.
Europa League semi-final, mate. Europa League
I don't want to
semi-final.
hear you moan about
He could spin this on you just as well. You spent 179 million in the summer.
Yeah, but
I don't want to hear you speak on your owners. If you don't want to understand nuance, because I understand the nuance of West Ham. I can understand why you wanted GSP out, right? But you can't understand the nuance of Spurs.
We've had it a lot worse than
Tottenham. Moaning at Levy.
We've had it a lot worse than Tottenham, right? You've got a custom-built stadium. We've got an athletics track. We sold our home to Kick On. We got a stadium that we're renting, so we didn't even have the expenses of building a stadium. And then we didn't spend season on season. You had Sullivan doing transfers when he ain't got a clue. And the circus, I can't even go into the circus, right? But yes, we're spending now. And that's why I haven't said nothing about Sullivan. In this whole mess that we've been in, I've never, ever gone for Sullivan because he put the money in, right? As much as he's done all the other shit that he's done, I've got to look at the manager. You've been given the players, make it happen. And you need to look at Conte more.
I've looked at Conte already.
But you're not Conte out. Are you Conte out? You're Levy out. You're not Conte out.
What do you mean I'm Levy out? Of course I'm Levy out. And I've said repeatedly, Conte is not signing a new deal, so we're wasting time. Just cut ties.
Want him out? You think he should go?
Yeah, I think he should go. If he's not going to sign a new deal, go. We're wasting time here. You keep saying you ain't spoken about Conte. I speak about Conte every episode. What are you talking about?
I don't feel like that. I haven't heard this real Conte out. You know what I mean? Vibe.
You want pitchfork.
You want me. So you basically want me to go at Conte with a pitchfork. This is a man who got us top 4 8 months ago, right? This is a man that got us top 4 8 months ago, and was courted by the club not once, twice, right? The club knew what they were getting into with Conte. My overarching, my main blame is always going to sit with the ownership. They're the ones who brought him in. They're the ones who hired Nuno. They're the ones who hired Jose before that. My ownership, my main gripe is always going to be with the owners. Yeah, you're saying sack Conte. You're saying sack Conte. These guys have failed for so many years, and there's no accountability for their positions.
Listen, I'm just saying, like,
but the problems were there before Conte, isn't it? Mourinho, Nuno hire, etc. So it's understandable.
Listen, Conte's been shit this season. I'll call it. I'll say it. Conte's been shit this season, and if he was to leave now, it wouldn't hurt me as much as it would have 8 months ago, because he's just not performing at his job, and he doesn't want to stay here. He don't want to stay here. So cut ties. I would happily cut ties with Conte and get whatever pain or whatever is waiting us in the summer. Would you bring
Poch back?
I wouldn't bring back Pochettino. No.
Why?
I think fresh start should be fresh start, and you know how much I love Poch. I wouldn't bring back Poch. I wouldn't hire Thomas Tuchel. Fresh start should mean fresh start.
Thomas Tuchel fresh. I know you. I saw you guys were looking at Sarri. Is that true as well?
I don't want him. I don't want him. I don't
believe Chelsea.
Yeah. Frank Lampard has been sacked. Imagine Frank Lampard.
I don't want him. I don't see this obsession with hiring Chelsea managers and then giving them B-Tech Chelsea funds.
Hey, this super chat says Lawless is having lots of chest for someone fighting relegation. Rice will be lucky to play for Arsenal. I'd take Onana, Castado, and Locatelli over Rice. Onana, I think Onana.
Definitely not taking Onana over Rice.
Onana he's joking. This guy.
Yeah, he's definitely joking there with Onana. That's a bit of a piss take.
Look at this. You see what I'm saying? But this Arsenal fan, if they signed Rice, would be saying he's the best DM in the world.
Of course.
This is how they
You
are.
back your players, isn't it? But he plays for a rival at the moment, and I think people should understand that. Do you know what I mean? To a certain level, obviously, I'm not. That's why I shut down the Onana thing because that was just too much. That was too much slander, even for me to handle. That was crazy.
No, but they are linked with him. So
Yeah,
anyway,
Rice is a McTominay with a bit of sense. Jesus Christ. Okay, this is a bit.
See?
Lawless, why would you be asking for your why would be asking for your minions to find receipts for you? Put your
Facts.
own work in.
You just don't want the receipts to be found, Gareth. Yeah, because you're one of Potts' minions. That's why you don't want the receipts to be found.
Big up the panel. Tobs has elite ball knowledge. Not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. Tobes gets too much credit sometimes, man. That Doherty Reece James should have set him back at least 5 years in ball knowledge. I'm not gonna lie. Smokey said,
was cold at Wolves. Doherty was cold.
I don't give a fuck what he was. It doesn't matter. There's no version of Doherty that was ever better than Reece James. I don't care. I genuinely
18-19 season, Doherty was better than Reece James.
I don't care.
19-20, Doherty was better than Reece James.
Listen, Reece James was probably in the championship that season for Wigan, and he's still better.
19-20, bro.
Are you gonna go back into the stats and look? There's nothing to justify.
He even knows.
There's nothing to justify comparing Doherty to an 18-year-old Reece James. I'm sorry.
Listen, Doherty's shit. So you're right. Listen, I can't get them all wrong.
Hold that. I'm sorry.
Even the most knowledgeable fans get shit wrong. Gary Neville is probably smarter than all of us put together when it comes to football. And look at the nonsense he's coming out and saying.
Do you think sometimes he's doing it on purpose, just for views and controversy? Because that might be it.
I'm not sure,
I think it's just bias. It's just bias, and
I think it's bias.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah. Smokey Setting says Tobes, Mitro banged in the championship, and then obviously your new signing got 15-7 on the wing, and he had one of the goals of the season. He's Nigerian. Back your guy. I didn't even know he was Nigerian.
Yeah, he's Nigerian. I didn't realize that until today. Listen, now he's here. I'll back him in it, man. Like, well, I say back him. I'll give him time. Do you get what I'm saying? I'll give him breathing room in it. Like, I can't be dogging on my I
heard a lot of good things about Danjuma last year.
Yeah, Danjuma's a good player, bro.
Yeah.
Danjuma's a good player. Like, I don't actually think he's a bad player at all.
All he needs to do is sit Son on the bench, because Son, even against Fulham, this guy is just.
I just hope Conte plays him. Now that he's here, I just hope Conte plays him. Like, this weekend we play Preston. Throw him straight into the starting 11. I would.
Yeah, 100%.
I would throw him straight into the starting 11. Genuinely.
I watched that Fulham game, and again, Harry Kane, obviously he's equaled Jimmy Greaves' record for Tottenham. Fair play to him. That's outstanding. He's going to break that record probably.
But why was Tottenham fans fighting so hard against Darren Bent over saying that Jimmy Greaves is still a bigger legend or still better than Kane because he's won trophies? Yeah, like the Tottenham fans were furious at you.
I didn't see that.
In the comments, I was looking at the replies, TalkSport, and they posted on Twitter.
Okay.
They was like, you don't know.
I might have muted them.
Yeah.
I think I muted them, man. Too many silly opinions have come.
He ain't got has Greasy got an Audi Cup? I don't think he did.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's fair.
Exactly. There's your counter. The face of discombobulation says Lawless Tobes is a humbler. You've been ripped. I don't even know.
I let him say his piece.
I'm behind on the stream, but the drop in energy levels was probably due to the fact Man United had to go away to Palace 2 days before. 100%. You guys played 3 games in that week. That's a fair point. Away to Palace, and you drew. It was a tough game as well. So that's actually a great point. I should have mentioned that. Why always me? Roger Simmet from Benfica would have been perfect. I don't know this player, to be honest. I actually don't know this player, but that's a fair shout. I'll look at him statistically, see what's going on there, watch some comps. We're gonna come to a close soon, but I wanna end it with a little bit of I want to offer some players out. Gallagher, Loftus-Cheek, Ziyech. I know Potts ain't gonna take none of these players because he's top of the league, but Lawless, Tobes, if you don't, would you take any of our players here that I'm mentioning in your team? Genuinely.
Which one? So we've got. So you said Gallagher. Who else?
Gallagher, Loftus-Cheek, Ziyech, a fit Pulisic.
No, I wouldn't take anyone.
Yeah, I would take.
Lawless, you better humble yourself. I'm expecting some yeses here.
No, do you know what?
Take all of them.
I'm not taking none of these players, except the one I'd be tempted to as a squad player would be Loftus-Cheek. I've always liked Loftus-Cheek. I think there's, he's got the energy levels. I think he could suit us. I think he could suit West Ham.
He's a good player.
For the right price.
How's he going to get in there ahead of Souček, bro? Come on.
No, listen, there's no point us signing anyone. And by the way, we're not leaving here without some praise for Paqueta.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Where's listen, because these two down.
What time was your game on? I didn't even see it.
It was 3 o'clock kickoff. 3 o'clock
Yeah.
kickoff. I'm just saying these lot have had a lot of smoke for Paqueta.
Are you going to overhype someone based on a game against Everton, one of the worst teams in the league?
No,
Yes,
because he's been getting better week on week to week. Paqueta's been improving. And
Tobs, are we gonna apologize to Lawless about Paqueta? No, fucking course we're not. Jesus Christ.
Oh man, I feel so guilty, man. How dare I ask Paqueta to play better and he performs against the worst side in the league? Wow.
No, you wrote him off. You had no right. You had no right to go.
But you have a right. You have a right to say to say half the rubbish you say.
Listen, I don't speak rubbish. I speak truth.
Yes, you do. You speak rubbish all the time.
Yeah, right. You were speaking rubbish about Paqueta. You were right.
Rubbish? What did I say that was rubbish about Paqueta? You said
you
that.
were trying.
Go on. I'll let you
tried to say I should take an L on Paqueta. Oh, you got to take an L on Paqueta. You said Paqueta's this. You said Paqueta's that. And I was like,
say you should take an L on Paqueta.
Yes, you did.
When did I say you should take an L on Paqueta? What does that even mean?
You've been throwing L's at me all the time, saying, "Oh, you said Paqueta was this good, and Paqueta was quality."
Yeah, you did. You did. You said Paqueta was this baller, and I've not seen a baller. That's what you said. I didn't say you should take an L on him.
Do you know what? I'm
Go
gonna quickly do? Just quickly, Tobs. I'm gonna take Lawless's advice. I'm not gonna like everyone. He wants everyone to wax lyrical about Arsenal. I'm gonna just keep it calm about Paqueta, just like he does about my players. I'm just gonna keep it calm. Just going to keep it calm. It's only one game. It's only one game against Everton. Let's see what he can do.
Week on week, I've seen improvements. He's playing next to Rice. And this is the thing. Tobes is talking baller, right? And expecting this player that's going to, be this Brazilian technician magician, yeah? He's more than that.
These things.
That was you. That was
judging
you.
by your standard.
Yeah.
You said these things.
He starts from Brazil. By the way, he had a pretty average work.
I didn't watch him at Leon. You said these things, Lawless. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? You're saying Tobes is saying all this. You said all of these things.
Because you're missing out the defensive work, though. That's what I'm saying. The defensive grip.
Honestly, what's wrong with you?
Hold on a second. You didn't hold on. You didn't sign Paqueta for his dogged defensive work, right?
Bro.
You signed him to be a creative number 10 Brazilian who plays in the Brazil national team, and he's going to be this creative demon in your team, right? That's the equivalent of me saying, oh, Mason Mount and Gallagher, they retrieved the ball really well last week, but then when they got on the ball, they did fuck all. So
he's playing center.
You guys, when you're analyzing Mason Mount and Gallagher, you're missing the defensive dogged side of their game. Please don't give me that shit.
No, he's playing as the number 8.
Guys, have you noticed that there's no nuance? When Lawless is analyzing our players, there's no nuance. Right? If I asked him for his thoughts on Richarlison, he'll call him an outright flop. And fair enough, calm. But when it comes to West Ham players, there's always caveats. There's always caveats. Do you remember Paqueta's first appearance, guys? He said he came on and changed the game against Spurs.
I never said.
Bro, and I said, what?
Oh my!
I didn't even know, mate. I didn't even notice he was on the pitch, and the only time I did notice was when that dummy. I think it was either him or Emerson that did that dummy, and they miskicked the shot. That was it.
I never said he changed them. I said you could see signs of the quality.
You couldn't see anything. He didn't do anything in that game. He didn't do anything
because you haven't got a keen eye. Yeah?
He didn't do anything, bro. You're just guessing. And again, that's
I'm gonna have to start clipping this show up.
And Lawless, that's the main point, right? You have gassed this guy. You've gassed this guy. And then when we're asking him, like you said this about this guy, but whenever I'm watching West Ham, he's playing poorly. Whenever I watch Brazil, he's playing poorly. I want to see more.
You're not watching when he's playing good, really? Did you watch the Everton game? You're not watching when he's playing well. Obviously.
Funnily enough, I had the Everton game on. I was watching the first 20 minutes and then I had to step out my house. By the time I come back, you're 2-0 up. So I'm not even going to hate on his performance. Fine. If you say he played well, I'll take your word for it because I didn't watch the rest of that game. But him performing against Everton is not enough for me. He cost, how much did he cost? Like 60 million euros or something
No,
like
it cost
that.
like
Right?
45 of euros. Yeah,
50
it cost like
million
45
euros,
million quid
didn't
or something like that. 30, 50
Okay,
million.
then. So the same way you would judge Richarlison, no matter what I say to you, why can't I judge Paqueta? Why can't I expect more from Paqueta when he's actually starting games regularly for West Ham?
He's
Why
a
can't I
record
expect more?
signing, isn't he?
Because of the context
51 million
going
pounds
on.
it was, not 45 million. I know you actually know the fee.
Add-on
You lie.
bonuses.
You know what the fee is. You know it's not 45 million pounds.
I don't
It's
count all
51
of this.
million pounds. He's your record signing. I know you know this information, but yet you try to knock off 6 million because you think I won't
That's all
check.
bonuses and add-ons, yeah, right? That's what I'm saying. But
Everybody
look,
knows how much their record signing costs for their club. Let's not play
Facts.
this game. If Potts, I'm to ask Potts what Nicholas Pepe's fee is, he's gonna know it. Do you know what I mean? Don't try this shit.
Yeah, 100%.
No,
I'm
look,
telling you, the guy's tapped.
45 million pounds.
no, West Ham have been shit this season because of
Odegaard
David
was
Moyes.
a steal. That's all I'm saying. Odegaard was a steal if he was 50 million. Crikey.
If I'm not judging no players, yeah. Listen, I'm not judging any players on this season because of David Moyes. I'm not judging him because of what Moyes has done to this team. He has to get a free pass, and he's improved. What is this?
50. Oh
Your
shit!
camera's shit.
Yeah, 51.3 million. 60
Oh,
million.
what?
3
We're
million.
splitting hairs here. Are we really that nitpicky? Like
It's a lot more than 45, though. A lot more than
6
45.
mil.
That's what I'm saying.
You know what I mean? He cost a bit of money, right? And he's coming to a new league, a new team, new country, right? And he's trying to settle in and adapt to a team that doesn't know what it wants to be. Does it want to be a counter-attacking team? Does it want to be a possession-based team? Do we want him as a number 10? Do we want him as a number 8? What do we want to do? So,
I sympathize with Paqueta. I do. Yeah.
Yeah, you've
I'm
got
just
to
saying.
sympathize with him.
Yeah, but it's just
Aguerd as well. I said Aguerd was going to be top quality. Oh, what? Who's Aguerd? He weren't even the best in League One that season, and all of this Tobs was talking about. And now look.
No. See, there you go again. There you go again with your lies. You think I'm just gonna let you say everything you say, bro? First you told us Areola's the best thing since sliced bread, or he's the bargain of the. He could be the bargain of the summer. Spoiler alert, he's not. It's Haaland for 51 million. Cool. Second of all, the Aguerd point, I wouldn't have even like. Obviously, I would have made my jokes or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Who's Aguerd? But it was you talking about Saliba. You spoke on Saliba. You spoke on Saliba and said, "What's the hype with Saliba? We've just signed Aguero." And I said, "Wait a second. They both played in the same league, but one was in the team of the year. One was actually voted one of the best players in the league. But you want me to give more praise to the guy that you've randomly signed from Nice."
See, this is the thing about the hypocrisy of Tobs. Yeah, that's what he should be called. Hypocrite Tobs, because he accuses me of lying on him and he turns around and does it on me. I never said we should say Aguerd is better. I said, look, we're praising Saliba, all of that stuff. I said we need to have patience on Saliba. I said what I had a problem with is when
why don't you have patience on Aguerd? So we need to have patience on Saliba, but Aguerd is the best thing since sliced bread.
We're in the group chat, yeah, and I'm hearing you hype up all each other's signings. We signed Aguerd, it's crickets, and I'm like, hello.
Because I don't know.
No one knew who he was.
I don't know Aguerd. I didn't call him shit, did I? I just don't know him. So why would I hype about a player I don't know? Do you see me hyping about Pedro Porro? I don't know anything about Pedro Porro. I don't know who he is.
Matisse was hyping on him.
Yeah, Matisse does. I don't know who he is, so I'm not going to hype him up.
Why weren't you hyping Aguerd, Matisse?
Because I didn't watch Aguerd.
Yeah,
because we were linked with Pedro Porro. We were actually linked with Pedro Porro. That's why I know. That's why I literally just said that. I said the reason why I know a little bit about Pedro Porro is because I had to research him because we was linked. We were never linked with Aguerd, so I have no idea who Aguerd is. However, during the World Cup, I gave Aguerd all of his flowers, and I actually said on DR, Lawless is going to be very excited to see Aguerd because Aguerd was one of the best centre backs. Was one of the best centre backs in the World Cup. He was probably one of the teams in the tournament.
This guy only hears what he wants to, man. I swear down. All three of us.
Now I've been vindicated. But
he's got to do it in a West Ham shirt.
Yeah, but the difference is we can say this. You will never admit when you're wrong. You're just a waffler. You're just
name me some things I'll be wrong about. I've been wrong about, and I'll
everything.
tell you.
You're just
At the
wrong
moment,
about
you are
Egypt
literally
thing.
wrong about
Everything,
Saliba.
bro.
You are very wrong about Saliba.
No, I'm not saying Saliba's shit. I said we got to wait and see. We got to give it time before because
How long? How long?
Tobs was saying he's the best centre back in world football and all this shit. He was going way too much. I've seen him make some clangers this season, right? I've seen him have some
I need to
howlers.
clip this
Yeah?
show, man. I need to clip.
He's a really good, promising prospect without a doubt. But calm the fuck down. Come on. None of this best in world football bollocks, yeah? And best in, and then Pot starts changing it. He's the best player at his age who was born in May on the same Friday.
It's just proves you don't listen. It's just proves you don't listen. That's all it does. Yeah, in the same sentence, you want us to go and have an absolute fit about Aguerd. But when it comes to a Saliba, calm it down, give it
How many
time.
appearances has Aguerd
The
made
player
this
who's made
season?
what 4 appearances for West Ham?
Yeah, that's
I'm
my
just
point.
saying. I want a
Barely
bit of.
played. So,
Listen,
because you literally at the start of this segment, you were like, we need to have a conversation about Aguerd. Aguerd has made 4 appearances for West Ham this season, and you are currently in a relegation scrap.
Matisse, 9
But
games in.
Saliba,
Yeah.
we can't
Thank
because
you.
it's
10 games in,
19 games in,
4
started every
appearances.
single match.
Some of them
Hold on
haven't
a
even been 90
second.
minutes. 4
I'm
appearances.
not
And he wants us to go with that.
Saliba's played 19 matches, hasn't been booked in 9, right? And top of the league. But we can't have a conversation about Saliba. But we must talk about Aguerd. Okay, I'm just documenting.
I never said Aguerd's the best in the world.
Yes, you did. You hyped Aguerd so much.
Massively.
What are you talking about?
Highest rated in Ligue 1.
At the start of the season, you said Aguerd is the real deal.
He's the real deal, yeah. Saliba's the real deal. But he's not the best in the world. I've never said Aguerd was the best.
I believe
in the world.
Pot said potentially is what he said. He could potentially.
I never said
best in the world.
I never said Aguerd is potentially the best in the world. I think he will be the best centre back we've had at our club for a very long time.
I hope so.
He'll be one of the best.
26, so I
He'll be one of the best in the league. I think he'll be one of the best in the league.
Once Moyes goes, if he's not one of the best in the league, and Paqueta's not banging, and Scamacca's not scoring goals, what are we going to say then? What are we actually going to say?
It depends. If we sign like some shit man, no, because you know what I mean. It depends who we get to replace Moyes, doesn't it? You know what I mean. If we get Big Sam back,
Rafa.
If we get Rafa, exactly. If we get Rafa, then what are we going to say? Well, it's Rafa,
Rafa will be better than Moyes.
Yeah, I think I have more faith in win us the Conference League than Moyes. I have more faith in that, but it's still just dire, drab football that I don't want to watch. I'm going to pay my hard-earned money for. All I want is
Bielsa.
I'm just saying, yeah. You all
this.
wank over each other's signings, yeah. I just wanted a little bit of when we make a few players, like you all sit there and go, "Oh, I watched him in Serie B and like all of this."
You don't tend to go for the same caliber of players that we're all going for because you're not
saying. A little something.
Like, do you want some hype on? Do you want some hype on Danny Ings, who's now injured for 2 weeks?
I like Ings.
Yeah.
I think Ings is. I think
let's give some Ings prop.
Yeah, former Liverpool player, obviously, you know.
Yeah.
But do you not feel like what time should assign more chance creators as opposed to another striker?
Well, with the fact that Scamacca's injured and then Antonio's not scoring, we probably needed someone who's a proven Prem
Antonio's not scoring because he's shit.
I think that's... Antonio was good. Antonio was good the other day. He's a
oh wow! How fantastic!
That's a bit harsh. He's like 34 years of age.
Exactly.
You're right. You're right.
That was so unnecessary.
It's very harsh. But I don't care. This guy, it's very harsh, but I don't care. This guy says so much shit. So I'm gonna keep my foot on Antonio. Ever since that, Antonio's better than Harry Kane nonsense that he did, I've got my foot on Antonio's neck.
Listen, don't misread. I said on form right now. I didn't say best in general. I said at that time, at that moment, he was better than Kane for that period.
So wait, so how long is Scamacca out for, and how? Because you signed Ings to replace Scamacca, and now Ings is injured, right?
Scamacca's probably back for the Chelsea game, so a few weeks. Ings is probably out till the Spurs game, which is a week after or so. But hopefully Cornet is coming back sooner than anticipated from his mysterious injury. So, boy, I don't know. It's just back now. Zuma's injured. Zuma's out for like a month. We can't get any luck. We're getting all our players injured. Do you know what I mean? We've got to be the unluckiest team going.
We'll wrap up on this note because there's another game coming on. Obviously, Forest Man United. But if your manager was to be sacked, Tobs, Conte, well, who's your guy that you want? Who's like on the top of your list in terms? Because you don't want Tuchel, sorry, Lampard.
I don't know.
You don't know?
Who I want.
Fair enough.
Yeah, just get one of these I wish we could get someone like Ten Hag. I wanted Ten Hag when he was at Ajax, but obviously he's at Man United now. I take one of these like hungry, like young project managers, right?
You want a hipster?
Thomas Frank.
It's not even a hipster. I just want a progressive manager. Pochettino is not a hipster, but his style of football is what I want. I just don't want him to come back and ruin his legacy. And plus, I want Spurs to sort of push legacy. On, right?
Yeah. And Poch is kind of like a safe option, isn't it, for Levy? Like,
Poch is a safe option, and I can see the club repeating old habits, right?
Yeah.
I think that's wild. Come back and ruin my legacy. Like, what is his legacy? Like, really and truly, that he can ruin. He won no trophies before. He can come back and not win any trophies, and nothing's ruined. Like, unless he got you relegated.
I wish you were this black and white when you analyze your players. Genuinely, I wish you would. Okay, fine. I'm not even gonna buy it. I just wish you were this black and white when you analyze your shit players.
No, this is Tobes' new thing now. That's black and white.
It's the truth. You've been so black and white with Poch. Again, ignoring all the nuance. So I just wish you could be so black and white with your shit players.
I'm just saying, legacy is something that lasts generations.
I'm just saying that your dogs aren't performing. And yet you want to get all the excuses in the world, but
you want to use the word legacy, 20 years time. Where's the legacy? How's it going to be looking at going, oh, that Poch season?
He's talking about legacy. This is a club that stand a man for wiping down the floors at the end of every match in the changing rooms. A guy who didn't win jack shit at the highest level for West Ham, right? Barely played, barely capped for his country.
No, you can't do that for Mark.
Barely capped for his country. And he's talking to me about, how can you leave a legacy without winning anything? Do you know what team you support? Mate, do you know what team you support? Genuinely, do you get what team you support, bro?
No, that's rude.
Because I don't know what's wrong with you.
With that. No, wait, come on.
I don't know what's wrong with you.
Does Poch have a legacy?
Bro, he's known for mopping the floors. When they play thousands of miles away, take a photo of Mark Noble mopping the floors. Yeah,
it's called humility.
Please don't talk to me about legacy. Please,
last. No, Potts Matisse, right? If I can't talk about legacy, Potts Matisse.
I didn't say you can't talk to me about legacy. I said don't talk to me about don't question. Sorry. What I meant to say is don't question Pochettino's impact at Spurs when you have men that have not even made a fifth of the impact he made at our club and didn't do jack shit that you stand.
But I never say legacy. Use the word legacy. Don't switch it to impact. I agree he had an impact, but a legacy is something that lasts generations, and he has no legacy.
Okay, so let me ask you this, right?
That's kind of fair. I'll agree with Lawless.
I'm not going to argue with that.
Kind of fair.
Even if that's fair.
Legacy is a strong word.
Okay, fine. Forget about legacy. Ruin his reputation then. But the point I'm making is Pochettino is by far and away our best ever performing manager in the Premier League. By distance.
I would agree.
By distance.
Yep.
So for me to say that his already strong reputation, when you look at what he did, without spending the money that his competitors were spending, right? If you want to talk about trophies, fine. But he didn't spend anywhere near what his competitors were spending, and he still had Spurs higher than some of these men, or on a similar level, right? So I don't want him to come back and ruin that reputation because I can see that happening.
I hear that. And
I'm glad.
As much as Lawless wanted him at West Ham as well.
I'm just guys. I just want this noted down. Yeah, I just want this noted down. He can never say the word legacy. If I can't say the word legacy, he can never say the word legacy about any.
I agree. None of you really should be.
Any West Ham player. Any West Ham player.
If we win the European trophy this season, there's players there.
You're not going to win it.
You're not going to win it.
How thick is that story? Get it through your head. You're not going to win it.
You're not winning.
If we win it, if we win it, Noble will have a bigger legacy than Poch because he's the director of football.
Oh,
Because
okay,
he's
so
our
by that
director of
logic,
football.
Wendy Ramos has a big. By that logic,
You
Wendy
are
Ramos has a
so
bigger
funny,
legacy.
man.
So shameless.
Wendy Ramos has a bigger legacy than Pochettino. Then,
What a legacy. Wow. What?
Yeah,
Wow.
Right?
You like it? He would be a European trophy winning director of football who brought in
No.
the players that helped kick us on.
Wait,
you're
when did he
actually-
when did he become director of
This
football?
is unbelievable.
December.
You're actually joking.
So he's
Bottom of
brought
the
in
league-
nobody. So he's brought in nobody.
Ings.
Bottom of the league. Oh, sorry,
He
top.
brought in Ings.
Where are you?
And
And he's
Bottom
injured, by the way.
bottom
And he's,
three,
and
innit?
he's injured. He brought in Ings and
16th,
Ings is injured.
17th. Where are you? 16th,
18th.
17th.
That's
You're
kind
gonna
of,
win.
I'm not gonna lie, that's
You're
the kind
gonna
of,
win the Conference League. All right, mate.
it's not being spoken
Aaron
about. We
Cresswell
don't have
will have
time.
a
But the
bigger
fact, that,
legacy.
hold
than
on, the
Poch.
fact that Mark Noble is your director of football does not worry you, no? Because like
Well,
you talk about wanting to play a certain style. What Mark Noble part of his career was playing this style that you admire, and then on top of that, his contacts. Not Mark Noble
what
is
is
not some
this?
world-renowned name. As much as you slag off Moyes, you're very cozy and cushy with having your former
Wait a
legacy
minute.
captain as your director of football, who really doesn't really tell me that he's going to give you that swagger of style of play that you're talking about, right? Because you know the director of football is meant to set the style of the team and then appoint the manager. Who do you think Mark Noble's going to want to appoint as manager?
Since when do we look at a player's playing career as a sign of the players they want to bring in and that? He played.
Look at the managers we've just been witnessing in the league. Look at Gerrard. Look at Lampard. Look at them. Look at Neville at Valencia. Look at them. Look at them. And you want me to talk about what?
Look, right? You're dismissing.
No,
Listen,
you have favoritism and bias towards your former captain.
I'm
That's where
giving
it
him a
is.
chance.
But I'm very
No.
interested to see who he hires. I'm
giving him a chance. I will question him, yeah, if he doesn't do a good job. But
Free
I'm giving
seat,
him a
my
chance.
friend. Free
But
seat.
my point stands, yeah.
I'm
There are
serious.
players in this team. Aaron Cresswell will have a bigger legacy at West
Mark
Ham
Noble
than
Paul.
Poch has at Spurs. Yeah, there are players. So he wants to talk about legacy. He better hope we don't win this trophy. Yeah, because boy, then we talking about
It
legacy.
reminds me of when Newcastle appointed Alan Shearer as manager. It's a championship appointment. It's a free seat. That's what it is. But we'll see what happens. I'm very interested to see if you get your style.
Mark Noble Paul.
Yeah,
The Mark Noble Paul.
Noble Paul. His continental networking contacts.
People love Nobes, man. Everyone who's played for us loves the guy. So he's obviously a personable guy. And when it comes to negotiating, and
Nice
getting
guy
in there,
hype is what we're talking about now, yeah? For
you know what I mean?
director
He's
of
got the
football.
gift of the gab,
Wow.
you know.
You got to be a
We'll-
nice guy. That's all it takes to be a director of football these days. All right,
We'll
fair
see.
enough.
But am I wrong? If we win a trophy this season,
You're
yeah,
not winning.
Moyes will have a bigger legacy at West Ham than Poch has at Spurs.
We'll see.
Facts.
We'll
If
see
Mo-
if you
if-
win.
if
You
Moyes is
got to
his
actually
winning.
do it first. Let's see if you do it.
Alright,
Gotta
we
win
do.
it, mate.
Rice-
Gotta win it. Gotta win it.
Rice will walk into this Arsenal team. No, not for me.
Yeah, no, that's
Yeah.
sorry, that's just bullshit.
Yeah.
Of course he walks
He
into
would,
that.
Alright.
he would do, man. But you know, Granit Xhaka is probably the guy that would miss out. You know, and it's mad saying that this season how great he's been. But Rice is decent, man. But he'll have to fight for his place. He'll have to fight for his place. Would Rice?
Indeed. Right, let's wrap up. Lawless, let them know where to find you, bro. Pleasure. That's always great.
Hey, shout out to that comment that says Noble career equals Kane. Yeah, they both won the same amount. Find me on West Ham Fan TV. West Ham Fan TV. Big things coming up, obviously. You can see all the watch alongs of business there, and at the Lawless if you want to come and follow me personally.
There you go. Potts, let them know to find you, bro. Pleasure as always.
Yeah, it's been a good one, boys. I can't lie. It's been a good one tonight. Come and follow me on socials if you want at DanArsenal87. And please come and follow my new channel. It just hit 7K. So thank you for everyone for helping me along the way. It's at Football's 12th Man podcast. If you love these two, you're going to love that channel as well because they're on it every week with me as well. So if you can head over and do that, that would be amazing. Cheers,
There you
Batiste.
go. Pleasure. Appreciate you coming on as well in sickness and in health, my friend.
Cheers,
Tobs, let them know where to find you, bro. Pleasure. Latest is greatness.
Tap and toes on all socials, bro. Don't wear it out. Did the THFC show with Fuadi on my channel yesterday. And yeah, just look out for the next time I put out some content, really. Who knows when that will be? Maybe a couple of days, maybe a week, who knows?
There you go.
Great pitch.
guys, guys, make sure you go subscribe to everyone's channels. Subscribe to this one, of course, as well. We're almost at 40k, so let's see if we can make it happen before the end of the month. And I'll see you guys obviously for the Nottingham Forest Man United watch along. It's gonna be interesting to see if they can get themselves to a final. Obviously, we missed yesterday, so yeah. Until next time, in a bit, people. Peace. Big up.